Hey, what's going on everybody? ETP coming at you guys with another video today, and I decided I would do a little bit more of an in-depth update on the 2015 draft class that I've been working on for about the last month. I haven't been doing update videos every single time there's a new update for the file. I tweeted about that a while ago, so if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, link will be down in the description. If you do want to keep up with this stuff, that is the best place to contact me and see the updates. So definitely go do that if you haven't already and you want to keep up with this stuff. But I have come out with a lot of updates. The file now has 45 total updates, and some of these updates are just little things. I thought it'd probably be best to just update the file every single time I make a change instead of having set times when I do updates. I've seen people say, you know, I'll do an update preseason, midseason, and postseason. I decided it'd be better just to do it as much as I possibly could. And now the file has over 1,400 downloads, which is pretty good. I've gotten a lot of feedback on it, people saying they like it, so I'm definitely glad that you guys do like it. And I'll go ahead and jump into some of the updates I've been doing, because I know it's kind of hard to see some of the updates, because since I'm not doing, an update video saying the updates every single time I do one, it's kind of hard to realize some of these that I am doing. So number one, the biggest thing that I did was I changed how I was making the ratings. So, for example, I made a guy like Moutier and Okafor. They've got high potential ratings, but they also have pretty high overall ratings because obviously they're going to be able to come into the NBA and they're going to be able to contribute immediately, especially Okafor. So he'll have a high overall rating right off the bat, but he also has a high potential rating because he's got a lot of potential to become, a possible superstar. And then there are other guys that don't have that superstar potential, but they are solid players. And then there are guys that aren't really solid players, but they've got a lot of potential. Maybe they're a little bit raw. So I'll try to find someone who is an example. We'll go down to Juwan Staten for West Virginia. He is only 5'11", 6 feet tall, so he doesn't have great physical attributes. That's a big factor in determining their rating and their potential, so especially potential. But he's 6 feet tall, and he's already 23 years old, so he's a senior at West Virginia, so he's already kind of developed a little bit. If you're a senior in college, you probably don't have too much more development to go, and you're near the top of your potential. But he's a very good college player, so his rating will be relatively high. You can almost think of it as Shabazz Napier, who is a phenomenal college player, and he's got skills to play in the NBA, but he's not, a freak athlete, and, he doesn't have big-time superstar potential most likely unless he exceeds all expectations. So he's got a pretty high rating in the game, but he doesn't have a super high potential rating, and that's the same thing that I did with these guys. Juwan Staten, 71 overall, which definitely isn't bad, but his potential rating is only a 74. So unless, things you're doing with training and stuff in my GM, maybe you could boost his potential a little bit, but he should top out around 74, 75 overall, somewhere around there. So he's just a possible backup point guard on a good team and maybe a starter on a really bad team. And a lot of these guys will end up being role players. I think that's something that's important. You want to make it as realistic as you can, and as much as I want to make these guys really good, because when you're reading scouting reports and watching them play and creating them, you think, okay, this guy's going to be a really good player. But in reality, in real life, these guys might not be, big-time players. Most of these guys are going to end up just being role players, and some of them won't even make it in the league. And that's kind of how it is in real life. Moutier and Okafor are pretty much givens. They're going to make it in the league unless they're just a total bust, which, especially for Okafor, isn't looking like right now. Oubre, Alexander, Karl Towns, Harrell, all those guys, they're pretty solid. Harrell's a little bit of an exception, and I'll talk about that now. The same thing works with big men, like I just talked about Staten, who's small and he's older, and he has a relatively high rating because he's good, but he doesn't have a big potential. That's the same thing with Harrell. His potential isn't huge. I think I put it right around 81, 82. So a solid player because he is very good, but he is undersized for a power forward in the league. He doesn't have much of an outside game. He has improved it a lot, which I definitely did reflect that in a ratings boost. I think he was a 72 or a 73, and I boosted him to a 74 just because of that outside shooting and stuff. So he should be a solid player, but again, he's kind of older, 21 years old, and only 6'8" for a power forward with not a huge outside game. That's definitely a little bit of a problem. And you can see guys like Thomas Robinson, he's kind of like that. He's undersized at the 4 position, and he doesn't have too much of an outside game, and he's more of a role player, even though he was a really high pick. So that's kind of how things are going to work. And then you also have guys that are really, really raw, that have a lot of potential. Like, we'll go down here. Some of these lower rating guys, they don't have too high of potentials, but you can look at like Mahamadou Jetta here, and he's 6'11", and he's only 19, 20 years old. So he's got potential. He's got really good physical tools, a long wingspan. Poitras he's a little bit of a bust. I think he was a big-time recruit, and he's got, physical tools. 6'8", and he's more of a small forward kind of, even though his position says power forward. He's kind of more of a small forward type at 6'8", and he's really athletic and stuff. So you're going to have busts in here, and you're going to have guys that turn out to be career role players, which in my opinion is very, very realistic. So that was probably my biggest update that I did as far as how you make the ratings. As far as durability ratings, that's another big change that I made. I changed most of the guys' durability ratings to 88 for miscellaneous, and I changed all the individual body parts to 85 overall. So you'll have more of a consistent, injury system. You don't want to have all these guys having random durability ratings. I just kind of set them generally the same. I also have been doing a ton of updates to hairstyles, facial hair, accessories. I can't even list all of those, but I've done a ton of them. Harold, he has a really weird hairdo. I think he has the Chris Douglas Roberts hair now, and they don't have that in the games for creative players, so I had to go back to his old hairstyle on that. But just a ton of stuff has changed, all these little updates, and I've been adding in more and more players. I think it's got 73 prospects now, and once I create more players, once I get close to maybe 120, if I get that far, I could come up with some type of 2016 class as well. And if I do that, which I probably will in the coming months, I'll let you guys know about that so you guys can download that as well. So that brings me to into this update video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Definitely let me know what you guys are thinking of the class so far, and if you have not downloaded it, here is the file name right here. Load. Okay, there it is. 2015 with accurate faces plus ratings, online ID, EmbraceThaPace. This is only on PS4, so definitely go download it if you haven't already. Talk to you guys later.